Welcome to KGXT, Gen X Talks podcast, live from Central California.
Making plans with the boys. I'm gonna hit the town. Yeah, I'm gonna make some noise. I'll push past the pain and my wounded pride. I'm gonna live it up. Yeah, stay out all night. But sure, I've had some better times. And I can't count all the tears I've cried. And maybe down my last time. Yeah, but the blues to me just fine.
Need to get done.
Here we go. All right. It says that the stream time is running. It looks like all the lights are green. The traps are clean. Let's see. Pod track. Let me just check. Hold on now. Keep a car wash there going there, boy. Yeah, it's going there. The lights are moving there. And Streamlabs says we're going there. And the butt is up and running. So I don't know if you guys can hear us on kgxtradio.com or not, but we are both high on the horse and in the saddle again. My lovely wife, who is staring at her phone again. I thought
I'm
we got
working
past
here.
that.
I'm
thought we
working
got
here.
you, but you missed so much of what I'm saying.
I can hear you.
You
I'm a
tuned
mom
me-
of 8
Oh
kids.
my
I can
God.
hear multiple things all the time.
No, it just means you know how to.
You just go wah 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 wah.
All it
the
is
time.
you're tuning me out. You're going to need to get that mic a lot closer to your pretty little face. Well, don't deep throat it. Just talk to it.
Hey, it's too early in the morning for that. Stop.
All right. So first, I think you owe everyone an apology.
Wait. Why
Yeah.
is it my fault?
I think we've discussed this. We talked about it in the live stream. Well, the one live stream you sat through because you went to bed right after VidCon, I completely threw you under the bus. You weren't part of the live stream. We missed the podcast and VidCon because I went back to the room. You stayed out and partied.
That's
You didn't-
right.
You didn't come back.
Yes.
So, and then when we tried to do it afterwards, you were sick, you were tired, you were achy, blah, 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 blah. And here we are, the only time we have ever missed a podcast. And it falls
Not true.
on your shoulders.
Not true.
When did we
We've
miss a
missed
podcast?
other ones. It's been a while, but we have missed
Oh,
one or
you
two.
are so full of shit, I tell you. All right, I think everything's recording how it's supposed to be. Let me double check. Yeah, yeah. Well, I think we're good as long as everybody can hear us on the butt. Someone in staff may give us a message, or I do have the KGXT radio app. Oh, John Jensen, you're loud and clear, General. There we go. Matt Cole says, same, listening, looking good, he says. Care Brat, loud and clear. Here we go.
So even staff has checked in.
Oh, good. All right.
Everybody's cool.
So let us begin. I don't know where to begin because now we have 2 weeks worth of stuff to talk about.
Where to begin? Let's see.
Well, we start with the apology.
Let's start at the very beginning.
I didn't do the intro.
Oh, yeah, that would see. Start at the very beginning.
Yeah, we should. How come our notes don't say, I need to write myself a permanent note. Hey, dumbass, start with the intro. That's what it should say.
Really sad that you even have to write it.
I have to write that down. I don't, well, we're 4 or 5 minutes in and I'm still like, oh yeah, the intro.
Before we start the podcast,
Right.
since we're on the radio,
Yeah.
say happy 4th of July to everybody. Hope you guys have a safe and sane
You-
4th of July.
You just said it.
I know. Well, I'm telling him. So I just want that out before you start the podcast for, the rest of the people that are
Welcome
coming
to
out.
the Gen X Talks podcast, broadcasting today live from the KGXT studios, 200 feet below occupied California, coming to you from a bunker built out of toothpicks and ketchup.
Ew. Where'd you come up
I
with
don't
that
know.
one?
It just popped in my head, but
I would really hate to live in your head or even hear what goes on in your head. That would not be pretty.
It is difficult sometimes.
I'd probably be screaming the whole time.
Well, you get past that. By the time you're like 12, you get past the screaming. You learn to make friends with all the things that are going on. It's not easy.
Okay. All right. Well,
So, yeah, I will tell you, I agree. God, there's so many things. I don't want to get sidetracked. I'm probably going to get everything out of order for what I wanted to say.
like you do.
Like one does. But I know that, first of all, when we talked about you being in pain after VidCon, and you were down a full 30 hours, you did not come out of that room. You barely came out of the bed. You were hurting. I don't want people to think that had to do with MarcyZavala.com.
Oh no, it was totally, we were on the go. It was a lot. There was a lot of sitting. There was a lot of walking.
Yeah. Not super comfortable chairs for your lower back.
No, it was a lot. And it was a buildup of multiple. I mean, we were on the go for like 2 or 3 weeks, and I finally just kind of crashed.
It was 2 or 3 weeks of going, and then 4 days at VidCon. And the last day, as I was struggling, you decided to push me in the wheelchair. Not a ton, but boy, I think that really made the difference. Because there was a couple times you're like, let me just push you to the next spot. Because I was having struggling walking. And I'm like, just let me sit here. And you're like, no, we got to go. So, it wasn't a ton, but boy, I think that did you in.
And we did a lot of standing because we were in line for a bunch of stuff too. So it was just a combination of a lot of things. And I just have to listen to my body, and it was tired and I was hurting. And then there you go. My back pain was off the chart.
I could tell things were going awry a little bit because there was times I put you in my wheelchair. I had you sit and I pushed you a little bit because you were really, you needed the back support. Just sitting on those benches sometimes was really the hard part for you sitting. Yeah. That's really not relaxing when it hurts to sit.
Or stand.
Yeah.
Or walk.
That's tough.
People with back problems know, but part of it is just that we're getting old.
Yeah. Someone asked the other day, what do you miss most about your childhood? I go, my back working. I miss a feeling good back and knees. I miss that part of my childhood.
I think back of all the things we used to do, and I don't want to do that right now.
No, you think about something that looks really fun. Gonna pass.
Yeah, exactly.
Not gonna do that.
I was thinking about the kid got accepted to do the Army parachute.
Yeah, the Golden Knights, the Army Elite Paratroopers.
I was thinking, how much fun would that be? But then I thought, you know what? Once you get down, it comes to a brief halt at the bottom. I wouldn't mind jumping out of the airplane. It's that sudden stop at the bottom. I think my back would break.
Well, here's what I don't get. Sometimes I've seen reels and shorts and TikToks where professional skydivers, they come in kind of sideways running, and they don't really hit the ground hard. They do come in a little bit fast. Not that my fat ass could run along. I'd end up toppling nose over head. But it's not like the old days when you saw movies of World War II where these guys hit the ground and it looked like you dropped a Buick off a building.
That's the part I would be afraid of, is the sudden stop at the bottom.
Yeah. Well, speaking of that, the Golden Knights, I think we passed the last part of the vetting process. They had us make. Well, they checked all of us out.
We did?
Yes, they checked all of us out. They wanted all of our stuff.
Really?
Yes. It wasn't just the kid because they wanted to make sure. The last thing the guy told me on the phone.
That he comes from a good family?
No, you didn't. See, you didn't talk to this guy on the phone. I actually called him the last day to get the final arrangements squared away. And he said, and I didn't know they were going this deep, he said, we needed to know what kind of affiliations your family had and your channel had.
Oh.
So they were quite extensive on, were we pro-military or anti-military? They want, there was questions, and we passed all of those. So we made the hotel reservations, and they talked about, how they take care of us and what they do. But yeah, I think it's August 7th in Las Vegas. The kid's jumping.
It's actually Overton, Nevada.
Overton, Nevada.
Yeah, it's not in Las Vegas. I looked. It's like an hour outside of Vegas in BFE.
Right. Well, that BFE.
Oh, that's where it is.
No one under the age of 30 is going to know what BFE is.
Isn't this a Gen X?
It is, but there might be some wandering people that stray in and go.
Look it up. Look up slang from the 80s or something. BFE.
Yeah, jumping in BFE.
Nowadays have it. They have letters for things, LOL and stuff. So that's ours, BFE.
They're
Get
just
over
stupid. I don't give a shit about
this.
this.
But anyways, our oldest son and daughter-in-law and grandson are probably going to be coming. I spoke to them about it.
Oh, you did?
Yes. The grandson, or Briggs' nephew, is so excited to see his uncle jump out of an airplane. That's what's exciting.
Well, we'll see how that goes. But that's on the schedule. He also got approved for the water skiing event in August, later in August.
Water ski national.
Water skiing. I didn't know.
Near us. I didn't even know they came by us.
No, I didn't either. And there was I didn't know they did it kind of like NASCAR. NASCAR has races all over the country, and you get points by where you finish in each race and how you do. I guess water skiing's the same thing. I just figured you got a trophy for each event, but it's not quite like that. You get they have points as they go along. So one near us, the trade-off for asking us to do this, I said I will participate with a microphone, and they wanted me to go on live with when they do the competition. I guess just to see if I would ask questions and make fun of it from a point of view that I don't know anything about it. But I agreed as long as they gave the kid some lessons, and they have a top water ski guy that's going to give the lessons, and you get to be in the boat filming him.
Yes, I'm glad I'm in the boat. My water skiing days are over.
Yeah, and
did that a lot growing up.
A lot. So it's that should be a fun couple of things going on in August. And but back to VidCon, that was the big thing that we missed talking to you about. One thing that I'll blow through a couple things that were really weird. I can't get over the elevator system on there.
At the hotel.
At the hotel was so weird. You go up. There's a touchpad on the wall, kind of near the elevators, and you tell it what floor you want to go to.
Yeah, and you're supposed. I thought you had to scan your card at one time, but
you
I guess
don't.
not.
You tell it I want to go to floor 11, and then there's 4 or 5 elevators, and they tell you get on elevator J. Or get on elevator M.
I was trying to think, is this a safety reason? Is this for efficiency?
It's efficiency, yeah.
Because like I said, you just said you don't have to scan your card. So technically anybody can go up to this thing, punch in a number, and get into...
I like how the Red Rock has it. The Red Rock Hotel in Vegas, you can't get on the elevators without your room key.
Yes, I love that.
But this one was a little different.
This was weird.
But
every single time.
Every single time. Yeah, it was completely weird. And then one time I went back to the room without you, so I get on the elevator and I was pushing my chair and turn around my wheelchair. Turn around, I push the elevator numbers, the doors close, and I glanced to my left and some lady had snuck in behind me, scared the shit out of me. I mean, you ever see a big guy like me jump? I fucking jumped, and she had her eyes wide open, and I said, I'm sorry. I didn't see you get in here. You scared the shit out of me.
Just so you know, this is the Marriott Anaheim. This is where we were, the hotel that we were at down there. The other thing is, man, when we walked in the door when we arrived, there was like a party going on in the lobby. I had never seen so many people. And we asked them, like, is this just because of the convention? They're like, this is like this every day.
Every day, he said. He goes, we always have conventions. We're always full. We're always booked. In this lobby, it's always a party.
The noise level was like sky high.
It was incredible. Just that
you had kids, you had businessmen, you had vacationers, you had a mix of people.
You want to yell at the guy and go, should we come back later when it's calmed down? And he goes, well, I don't know. You could try like 2 a.m. That's when my shift is over, but I'm guessing it's like this 24 hours a day.
And they had a bar like right in the middle of the lobby. So, you know, that's where everybody was hanging out. But it was fun. It went pretty well. We got the rooms.
The room was small, but the beds were super comfortable.
The beds were super comfortable.
Here's a story. And I think it was our first day there, or maybe the second day there. We had 4 days down there. And it was early in the morning, and I got up, jumped in the shower, and all of a sudden, the smoke alarm goes off, the fire alarm goes off, and we're like, holy shit, and it's blaring, and I'm thinking, okay, we got to get out of the building. So I jump out of the shower, I ran over to the phone and tried to call the front desk, can't get through.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, everybody's calling the front desk, let's just go. So we're throwing our clothes on real quick, and you were just barely out of bed. You were throwing your clothes on.
Yeah, no shower, no coffee, just had to go.
Just had to get the fuck out of the building because the fire alarm's going off. And I remember something that you looked at me and you were concerned. You're like, how do I get you out of the building? It's like, and I remember telling you, don't worry about me. You get you out. Let's call Briggs and him and Isaac. Tell him, get out of the building in any way you can. And you get out. You find your way out. You get out with everybody else. I will find my way out. I'm not going to get stuck in here. I'm not going to die. I'll take care of me. You don't worry about me. And I wanted you to know that. Like, I know you're worried about the big fat guy, but I can still walk. I can move. I can, I'm going to get out. I'm not going to get stuck here.
Yeah.
And so we get dressed, and we looked out the window at the foyer outside, and I thought, well, that'll have 1,000 people in it by now, and it didn't.
There was nobody outside. I looked down. We were on the 11th floor.
And we looked out the front door. I thought the hallway would be racing with people.
Yeah, I was looking out the peephole, and nobody was walking
So
around.
I called the front desk again. Nobody answered. I'm like, okay, and the alarm's still going off.
Yeah, it's really annoying.
The alarm's been going off for like 3 or 4 minutes now, and we're dressed and ready to go, ready to bolt out of there. And I finally got through to the front desk, and I said, hey, man, is that fire alarm going off? Is that real? Should we all be running? He goes, oh, it's probably just in your room. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? It's just in my room. He goes, did you open the bathroom door while you were taking a shower? And you did. When I was in the shower, you went in and out 3 or 4 times, and the smoke alarm is right outside where the steam comes out, and it set it off.
Yes. Could you believe that?
And I told the guy, I said, well, how do you not know that? How come you didn't send somebody up here? What if there really was a fire in my room? Don't you have something that says, wow, the 11th floor and room, whatever we were at.
Yeah.
There's a fire up there. We need to go take care of that before it spreads. I said, you fuckers didn't even know the alarm. I could be burning alive right now. And you don't even know. He goes, it happens all the time. Just close the door and wave a towel in front of the smoke alarm. You'll be fine. I was like, you out of your fucking mind. Well, now we're up and we're dressed. We finished getting dressed. Here's something I didn't tell you. You haven't heard this part. So we walked and we're like, okay, let's just get up and get going. You were already dressed. I was already dressed. Finish up, head downstairs. We're walking from the Marriott to the Conrad Hilton because we were going to have breakfast over there.
Yeah.
So we're walking across the deal, and all of a sudden I realized I put my sweats on backwards. And I went,
I didn't even notice.
Nobody did.
Oh,
And that was a chore, going into the bathroom to a stall with my fat ass, trying to take everything off, turn my sweats around, and put my sweats back on. All I kept thinking was, I hope nobody notices until I could get over to the Hilton.
I didn't notice.
No, I didn't say anything.
I was pretty tired that day because that's a very rude alarm clock.
Oh,
Really rude. I was not happy, and it took a while.
And so we had I think the Marriott, Anaheim Marriott, caught on fire every morning, because we had the alarm go off every time. We couldn't keep it.
The other thing is that the bathroom didn't have an exhaust fan.
No.
I've never been in a hotel that never had an exhaust fan. So, of course, the steam's going to leave the bathroom.
Yeah, there's nothing you can do.
And one morning you were in there taking a shower and the door was closed and it still went off.
Yeah, it's tough. But
it was just a sliding door, like a barn door.
I want to make note of that. The Marriott Anaheim caught on fire every day we were there because the alarm went off every single day. So the VidCon was fun. We got recognized by some people, took some pictures. We went to the seminars, which Briggs and I really try to split up and learn.
Yes.
The problem is, and their vetting process is so fucking stupid, is that you go to a seminar, and this one we went to, remember the first one we went to with that lady who got up there and she had kind of that short...
It was supposed to be about AI.
Yeah. Okay, the seminars are about 45 minutes long. 30 minutes into it, she was still reading us her resume.
I know.
Well, here's what I started out doing, and then I went here, and then I accomplished this, and then I got
care.
hired. At 30 minutes, I was like, okay, get to the fucking topic. Who cares where you're working now?
Yeah.
And
there's good ones and bad ones. People know when you go to a convention, sometimes you get a good one.
And you have no idea.
No.
And so half of them were junk. Half of them were really informative. And but I'll tell you what, the attendance was way down. The seminars were not packed.
I thought the seminars, workshops last year were better than this year.
I did too.
The topics even. And I don't know if they're catering to, let's explain this. VidCon is open to community, which is like anybody can go. Then there's creators, which you get the community pass and the creator level. And then
you
they have industry.
You have to be a verified creator with so many thousands of subscribers before they'll give you that.
So anyways, so you have these different levels. So there are creators, but I mean, there's people there. There's lots of kids there wanting to be TikTok famous, just like our son was.
And
there's
just
many.
Well, that's the you said, what was it? The community pass.
The community
The
pass.
community pass is 6,000 or 8,000 kids coming to see their heroes.
Yes, there's
coming to
meet
go
and greets.
all the displays that everybody has out, all that stuff. So
there's free panels that
Yes.
they get to hear their favorite YouTubers talk and stuff like that. So they're drawing in teenagers and maybe young adults. It seemed like they were like 20 and under, most of the people
I
there.
would agree with that.
But we do go because there is workshops where we learn a lot, or we learn about the things that are coming up.
Right.
Because we've realized, because we didn't know we were going to get involved with this, that social media is forever changing.
And it's tough. And the problem was that AI is the new gig.
Yes.
And there was nothing super informative about AI at all.
No.
I think I sat through 2 of those and I gained like one piece of information that was helpful. Now, Briggs, on the other hand, what's that YouTube channel that he was after?
Jet lag.
Jet lag. And
So they were a big headliner. Jet lag is on YouTube, and they are exclusively on Nebula.
Nebula,
I guess Nebula is it's like a channel, not a channel.
Well, we'll get to that in a second, but he was fanboying out. He left every time that we were scheduled to do something. If Jet Lag was doing something at the same time, he was gone. He's like, nope, don't even care. Going to see the Jet Lag guys.
So let me explain. Before we went to VidCon, he knew they were going to be there. So he showed me this channel, YouTube channel, called Jet Lag. The game is actually what it's called. So I sat there and I was watching it and I was like, well, this is pretty cool. They're kids about boys and girls about his age, that it's like, if you remember watching The Amazing Race, that's what it's based on.
Oh,
it's
I got
loosely like translated into that, but they have a budget. They've added money to it. Like they can't go bankrupt. They got to spend their money wisely. And the one I was watching was they were traveling around Australia. And the whole idea is they had to touch each, is it a territory?
Yes.
Or state territory?
Yeah, I think so.
In Australia, and be ahead in money to win the game. That's the whole thing. So we were in line. Isaac, Briggs, and I were in line for this event thingy down on the community level. And all of a sudden, Brigger starts freaking out like a girl. Like, just was going, I'm like, what the heck is going on? He's like, oh my God, that's Ben. Oh my God. I'm like, Ben who? Like, I'm sitting there going, Ben who? He goes from jet lag. And he comes right up to Briggs. And they have challenge cards. And he handed Brigger a challenge card from the game, and Brigger just completely freaked out.
Right.
And that was like the highlight of his whole VidCon.
Now that makes sense to me, because Briggs came to me with Isaac, and they each had a challenge card.
Yes.
That you're supposed to go do and submit back to Jet Lag.
Yeah.
One of them was in the boys are telling me, and he goes, well, one of the things really going to be hard. We have to find a place where a lake has covered up a town. Has absorbed. I'm like, oh, that's easy. You just go up to Kernville, and they're like, what? I go, yeah, Whiskey Flats was a town, and when they built the Isabella Dam, Lake Isabella up there, it swallowed up the town. And Isaac was like, yeah, I'm going to go get mine. That's easy now.
Yeah, but the problem is Lake Isabella is filled now, so you can't see the town.
But you just got to go there. You got to you don't got to unearth Atlantis and show your.
I mean, you could at one point you could take pictures of.
But if this town wasn't under the lake, it wouldn't count. It has to be covered.
Okay, I got you.
So anyway, Isaac's happy because he's like, oh, thanks to your dad, I'm going to score mine really quick. And Briggs was something else that was really hard. I go, I can't help you with that one. You're going to have to.
It was something about cleaning up the parks.
I don't know. I told him you're going to have to get on a plane and go someplace and figure it out. So,
yeah,
but VidCon was really good for a lot of things. It was a lot of fun. There was some silly, stupid stuff that went on too. And I posted this for members, but I'm going to put up a fan page today on our website. There was a guy that this boy was built, bald guy with a kilt. Remember the kilt guy? And he's walking around
one of the workshops. Yeah.
So he's walking around all VidCon with his plaid, yellow and black plaid kilt.
That must be his costume.
It must be.
Whatever.
And he had it on every day.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden we're in a seminar and there's pillars, inside the building.
I didn't notice this when it first happened.
And I look over and all I can see is half of the kilt guy. He's facing away from me. He's kind of behind this pillar. And I don't know how you describe it. He's thrusting.
That's what it looked like.
He's standing there. He was air fucking something. I don't know what he was doing. He just kept thrusting and thrusting, and
there was no music playing.
No, he
wasn't dancing.
No, he wasn't moving. His feet didn't move. He just kept moving his ass back and forward, back and forward.
If anybody looked, you would have thought he was having sex behind the pillar.
You would have. It's exactly what it looked like.
Yes.
And so I took a quick video. I'm like, what the fuck is this guy doing? I'll put that up on the page. But those are the kind of weird things that went on. You just got to look and some weird thing happened.
There's always the kids that are dressed in costume, and it's almost like Comic-Con, but for VidCon. So if you know what Comic-Con is and that you come dressed as your favorite comic book hero or whatever, same thing with VidCon. Like, there's just some interesting things.
We went to Collecticon 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And Briggs said, don't make fun of the furry people. And I go, what are you talking about? He goes, well, they're called furries or something. They think they're cats. They think they're dogs.
Animals.
And I go, why? He goes, because at that time, no. It was
a no.
So sensitive. He goes, Dad, just don't see anything. Well, we're kind of over it now. The pendulum has swung back the other way in this country. We're telling people your woke bullshit is fucking stupid. We don't care anymore. And really, a lot of the country's moving on. Like, okay, we don't give a shit. Do what you want, but do it quietly over there. Don't put yourself.
We're not going to make concessions just because you want to be a dog.
So this time, there's a few people dressed up like that. And I told Briggs, I said, can I say something now? He goes, yeah, go ahead. So every time I was around them, I was standing in line for something, and this girl was standing in front of me with a group of people, and she was dressed like a cat. I mean, glued stuff to her face to look like a cat and dressed like a cat. And the pause, and I go, hey, you're pretending to be a cat.
Oh my gosh.
And I was waiting for they all murmur, oh, he's not pretending. She is. You know, you don't understand if they think they are, if they feel they are. So they're murmuring to themselves. They go, hey. So I yell. I go, hey, look, she's pretending. She's dressed up like a cat. She's pretending to be a cat. No one wanted to start a fight with me at VidCon, but I was ready.
It almost reminds me of kids when they acted out when they were younger. They just wanted attention.
Yeah.
I think that, I don't know, that's my feeling. I must be old or something.
Oh, you know what I should have said?
What?
I should have looked at her and said, don't you belong in a carrying case?
Oh, my God. I just think I go the total opposite and go, what are these parents doing this?
Oh, they embrace it. Those parents go, if my child wants to be a cat, then she is.
God.
But I was quiet at Collecticon because Briggs said you'll get us kicked out because of the time.
Yeah.
But not this year. This year, everyone I was around like that, I said some shit out loud. Like, I'm just going to say it. You want to talk? Let's talk.
I am getting old. I'm putting myself in the old category because I'm turning into my mom and dad. We were sitting down at breakfast this one morning, and we're in a really nice hotel, the Hilton. Yeah. I mean, Hilton used to have a title back in the day growing up.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember being told when we went to a hotel that you will respect it, you will act like an adult, you will not be a child, you will not run around in the hotel.
Well, it was we were told to behave that way in public anyway, but
absolutely.
Especially if you were at a nice restaurant or a nice place, you really had to watch your P's and Q's.
So we were sitting for breakfast, and I'm looking out into the lobby.
Oh, I know this story. You're looking over my shoulder.
Yeah,
hold on. Let me preface this. Back in the day, when we were really young, we'd people watch. That's natural.
Yeah.
And we'd people watch, and we had a whole different take in our 20s and early 30s. Like, wow, look at them, and oh, you know, she's pretty, and he's hot, and they're a family, and this. We get older, we're people watching. I wonder if they're on a first date. I wonder if they came here to get away. Yeah. I wonder what they're doing. We've moved away from all these different variations of examining people as we just people watch. And I look at you.
Oh, my blood.
You're looking over my shoulder because the wall behind me was a half wall with beads, so we could see the lobby of where you come into the restaurant. And you start getting upset, and I'm like, what could you possibly be looking at?
Now, I understand that this hotel is near Disneyland. I understand that there are children running around, but not our children, nor were we.
No.
Told that we can run around and play ball in a hotel.
The
this
kid
was tossing a ball like a baseball. I don't know if it was soft or whatever, up into the air as high as he can.
But then it would miss and it'd bounce on the ground and crack.
Bounce and just roll all over the lobby. And I was like,
because it was kind of like a baseball deal, you could hear it hit the ground. You could hear it roll because it went clank, 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 clank. And I went, okay, yeah, the kid's bouncing the ball. Man,
I was
the whole breakfast, as long as that kid was there, you were eating, but you were looking over my shoulder. You weren't paying attention to me at all.
Because I was looking at all the stuff that was in there that could break. Yeah. As a mom, I'm sitting there going, oh my gosh, like this kid. The mom's just standing there, like not doing anything.
And when I turned around, she was on her phone. I'm like, she's texting on her phone or something.
I just lost it. I'm getting old, you guys.
Well, that's what I was going to tell you is like, you know, we're no longer looking at things from those point of view. We're looking at them from control your fucking kid. Oh, anyway.
I'm beginning to be my parents. I don't know what to tell you, but I don't know. But one more thing about our trip.
What?
I don't know. this is weird, something. I mean, we don't have to talk about it if you don't want to.
What?
It's okay. But I noticed in the hotel one morning, because our hotel was really small, we had one sink, we both had to share the bathroom. I went by and you were going to the bathroom.
Yeah.
And you were like standing sideways.
Sideways?
Yeah, at the toilet.
I'm standing sideways. Okay, maybe I might have been angled, not straight on.
Okay, well, don't you guys stand in front of the toilet and aim straight ahead?
Yeah, typically.
Well, you weren't doing that.
No, okay, hold on.
So you're going to talk about it?
Yeah, well, now that you brought it up, I can't just tell everybody, I'd rather not speak about that topic and move on. I can't say that now. Now that you brought it up, I got to just...
Then you've got some splaining to do.
Okay.
Go, because I have no idea what you're doing.
I didn't even know you noticed that, first of all, that you even saw that.
We were in a room about 700 square feet.
Okay. Now, you're not a guy.
No, not that I know of.
Not
I do
that you
not identify as a male.
No, you don't. So I'm going to have to explain something to you. A lot of times, maybe not a lot of there are times when you go to the bathroom, you go to take a leak, and you don't know for sure which way your Johnson is going to shoot the pee out.
Men problems.
It is. Now, I know you'd think, well, you stand in front of it, you grab your Johnson and point it straight, and you pee straight. Yeah, that's mostly the way it happens.
Okay.
But there are times it'll completely shoot at a 45-degree angle. And you have no way.
Wait.
What?
Is it all bunched up in your underwear? Is it to the side and bent too much that it just causes things to go sideways? What?
Okay.
Us girls don't have that problem.
I got it. Now listen.
Wait.
You can you can stand straight to the toilet, you can whip out your Johnson, you can straighten him out. And there is still a chance that it can shoot to one. Not normally it won't, but it can. Now, this particular trip.
So we're having problems with that.
Well, this trip it had shot at a 45 a few times.
Wow.
So this time it was in the morning. I'm like, okay, I'm not, I'm gonna get out in front of this thing. So I parked myself in front of the toilet at a 45-degree angle. Here, this will be the best way to describe it for you because you're a chick who likes airplanes. How do airplanes look when they land in a cross breeze?
A little sideways.
They come in sideways. An airplane will come in and they straighten out at the end. Right. Okay. That's what this is like. I stood anticipating that crosswind, as we're saying,
getting ready to land,
and that way, did
you stick the landing?
I didn't. I messed it up twice. I did not.
You crashed and burned.
It was bad. But the idea is that you try to, if you think your Johnson's not gonna cooperate with you, you try to figure out what he's been doing and get out in front of it. You're plotting your course, trying to save yourself.
Man, I'm sorry I even brought this up, man.
I can't hear what you say.
I'm sorry I brought this up.
Well,
men problems.
It's a real thing. It doesn't happen all the time, but it can, and there's nothing you can do about it. So just letting you know.
Okay, well, good to know.
Speaking of bathrooms.
What about it?
I broke the bathroom stall door.
Oh, that's right. You did. In the convention center.
Yeah, I went to the bathroom.
It wasn't in the hotel room. This is in the convention center.
Then,
which, by the way, is slightly old anyways.
But it's pretty well kept. It was pretty well kept. Went to the bathroom, and I went to a stall because all the urinals were filled. And the stall door, it almost was like when a handicap one had a big wide door. But it had an enormously, uncharacteristically long hook hanging out of the bathroom door. I guess as you go in there, you hang your diaper bag or your coat or something. You put your coat on it. You shut the bathroom door, the stall door, and you turn around and face the door. There's a big hook. Now, a lot of them have hooks. This thing had to have been sticking out 5 or 6 inches.
Okay.
So I open up the stall door. I go in. My arm gets caught on that thing, and of course, because I'm walking in, I'm already leaning into going in there, stepping in. That door, my arm catches the hook, and the door slams on me.
Ouch!
Now it tried to it caught me between the solid part of the stall and the door. I'm a big guy, and I'm moving forward. When that door came in with my arm, like I closed it on myself, I'm a big guy. I didn't move.
You're a brick shithouse.
I'm a brick. That fucking door ripped right off its upper hinge. I mean, it's snapped.
Oh, God.
And I back up, and then the door, of course, falls to the ground. Pong! Now it's hanging at an angle because the upper hinge broke. The bottom hinge is tweaked.
You broke the metal hinge?
No, I didn't break the hinge. It ripped out of the I guess the wood of the solid part of the stall.
Oh.
And I did mention the reason I went in there is because the stalls were full, right?
Right. So there were a lot of people there.
Turning around, going, what the fuck did you do? And I looked at it, I said, whoa, wonder what happened there. Look at that. The door fell. That's weird.
You're so full of shit.
I immediately go to my Norm Macdonald phase. I'm like, oh, that's kind of weird. The door just fell on me. I had better get another stall or something. Call somebody. Look at that door.
Yeah, and you were just moving and shaking it.
I had no idea that it was going to happen. And that fucking thing, I'm still bruised on my arm. That hurt so bad catching that hook. But I got my revenge accidentally when the door ripped off the hinge.
That was your revenge?
I went back to that. I happened back to that same bathroom because there's so many bathrooms on so many floors. 2 days later, I happened back in that same one. Didn't even know I was in the same one till I walked in and glanced, and that door had been put back up with yellow caution tape. And they just had it. They didn't even fix it yet. They just left it there.
I have another story that we didn't even talk about.
What?
I think it was on our last day there. You had a lot of bathroom problems this trip. Do you remember when we left breakfast on the last morning and I said, hey, I'm going to jump into the bathroom real quick, and you said you were going to go into the men's?
Yeah.
Was it not flooding?
The whole bathroom was. Yeah. Okay, not the whole bathroom. I walked in there, and this is on the first floor lobby of the Conrad Hilton, between the Mix restaurant and the breezeway to go out
to the parking lot.
Well, to the convention center. And that's down that way. And so you go to the one bathroom, I go to the other, and I walk in. Close to 3/4 of the floor is covered in brown liquid.
Ew. Did it smell?
Nope, didn't smell at all. Did not smell. It looked like rust is actually what it looked like. It looked like rust water. Yeah, like a pipe. It did not smell, but it looks horrible in a bathroom. When you see brown all over the floor, you're thinking, oh shit, literally.
Did you get out, or did you do your business and then get out?
Well, there was a couple urinals I could tiptoe through, and so I did.
You even stayed there.
Well, yeah, it didn't smell. I had something to do, man. I had a job to do. I'm not going to let that deter me. I got stuff to do today, baby.
All right.
Then I walked back outside and I grabbed the lady had just gone. The cleaning lady had just gone into the girls' bathroom. When she came out, I said, "Look, I don't know if it's your job or not, but it's really fucked up over there." And I told her, man, she wasted no time getting a maintenance guy in there, and they were on it before. As you and I were walking away, they were cleaning up. So. Props to the Conrad Hilton for, as soon as they were made aware, they fucking got after it. But I did have a lot of weird bathroom issues this trip.
I do have to mention something I observed. In the Hilton and in the Marriott, they had men's and women's bathroom. Yeah. There was no gender, nothing. But when you went into the Anaheim Convention Center, you did find an all-gender bathroom.
Yep. Yeah.
Which was interesting. It depended on where you were. And I was thinking about it. I'm walking into the girls' bathroom going, what if a guy walked in here and I was kind of like, I really don't care, really? I mean,
no, I know you wouldn't. No, you wouldn't care at your age and your generation of being brought up. You'd be like, fuck that guy. You don't care.
Yeah, as long as he didn't bring harm to me. Otherwise, he'd be,
Right, but what about
a fight or something? But if he's just coming in to go to the bathroom, I've done it to a men's bathroom. When the ladies' bathroom has been long, I've gone into the men's bathroom.
I got to tell you, that's the weirdest thing I've ever seen you do.
Hey, when you got to go.
I know, but we've been out places like at a NASCAR race.
Dodger Stadium.
We've been at a NASCAR race. We've been at Dodger Stadium. We've been in like really crowded situations. And it's not like the men's room was empty.
Oh, no, but you guys have stalls too.
I know, but what I'm saying is you just walk in there, which was the first time you did this like 30 years ago, my jaw dropped. I'm like, fuck that. The women's line is 2 miles long. You walk right in there to the men's bathroom. And there's 20 guys with their Johnsons out.
Oh, well.
You stroll right by.
Who cares?
Went to the bathroom and strolled right back out.
Yeah. While they're all holding their Johnsons going, what just happened? I'm like, 30 years ago, if I could have walked in there and went, I'm identifying as a male today, I would have used that. But who cares? I mean, I really. Wait. Because like when we go to air shows, like when I was younger, we went to air shows. You go into those little
porta potty
Porta
deals.
potties,
Yeah.
men, women, we all do it.
But there's nobody else in there with their Johnsons out.
I know, but I'm just saying, who cares?
Well,
it doesn't bother me.
The reason that works, it's a hypocritical double standard, but the reason that works is that if a guy walks 30 years ago, if a guy walks into the women's bathroom and says, I just got to go, women would get mad. They would scream like, get out of here. What are you doing? Go in your own, but 30 years ago, you walk into the men's bathroom, those guys are all, hey, how you doing? Hey, nice to see you in here. It's a whole different attitude.
It is. Hey, we all got to go, especially if you really have to go.
Yeah, I do get
I'm not there to go look at all the Johnsons. I'm there for a mission. Like, I got to get in and get out.
Yeah, I know. All right, so
and women take forever in the bathroom.
They do. Well, the big line was the one at the Hollywood Bowl when you looked at that line and went, holy Santa Claus
yeah,
shit.
That was ridiculous.
So.
All right. Well, was that all at VidCon?
I think so. I'm thinking that's
it. It was a crazy 4 days, people.
It was a lot of fun, though. We saw that dog that was all painted different colors. She had a poodle.
I went on that Instagram page.
You did?
Wanted to go see
the dog has an Instagram page, and this poodle, it was a tall poodle, like a full-size dog, perfectly manicured and painted.
She had hair dye.
Yeah, like a blues and pinks.
Yeah,
it looked kind of cool. As long as there's no harm to the dog, that was pretty cool.
It was a fancy poodle, with the little puffies
all
over the place.
That was kind of cool. Anyway, a lot of weird stuff went on there.
We met a lot of wonderful people. We made some connections with some people for future events.
Well, and you guys know how hard I try to figure stuff out on YouTube. YouTube's kind of my thing with Gen X Talks. I'm in charge of that, trying to make it work. They had a YouTube desk that was creators only. You couldn't, regular people just couldn't get there. Right. And even with creators, there was a line an hour long to talk to the YouTube guys and be in that room. We got there early. I made us get there like half an hour.
The very last day, you were like, I'm going to talk to this guy.
And I sat there. His name was Dylan. And this guy was smart and helpful. And I sat and picked his brain about YouTube stuff for over an hour.
Well, I hung around and I found that really comfortable seat, remember?
Which looked stupid. It looked like an egg from Men in Black, where he sits in those Men in Black thing, but it looked like a half shell.
I was people watching at that point. I had done all the little events while we were in that room while you were talking, and I was just sitting there and I was yapping with the guy next to me because he had like a British accent, and I was laughing because he was talking to everybody. And
that's why you love men with a British accent.
But I was reading my phone. I was kind of doing some Gen X Talks things, and your voice is really low, right? I know it's your voice.
Yeah.
Well, then all of a sudden, out of the corner of my ear, I was like, I hear this really low voice, and it had an accent, and all of a sudden, I turn toward him, and he looks at me and smiles, and he goes, "Can I help you?" And I said, you were distinctive. You had a very distinctive, and I told him, and he was just a kid, and he smiled. I said, "I love your voice. It's great." I go, just swoon all those girls.
Don't tell me you weren't listening. You love a British accent. That it'll keep you occupied forever.
He was a good salesman. Everybody that came in that door he was giving out free samples of something or whatever, and he just had them all going. But that was kind of funny. So that was my little thing about the YouTube area.
Hey, so you remember we talked about meeting Chef John when we went to Arizona?
Yeah.
We hid that coin on the corner of Winslow, Arizona, like the Eagle song said. Yeah. Shannon Brigode went up there 3 times, a 4-hour drive. She finally found the coin because the truck out there is covered in stickers.
3 times a charm.
3 times a charm. The truck is covered in hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of stickers. Yes. And she found our sticker amongst all the others. And then right behind our sticker on the other side of the metal post was the coin. She finally got it.
You know what else was interesting? We didn't put the Marvin character sticker.
No.
We went obscure with the car show sticker.
We went with the 2 Bear car show sticker.
So you had to really look at it. Because I think the Marvin one would have stood out more.
Yeah, it would have. But you had to really go find it. But once you found the sticker, you knew you were close to the coin. Anyway, so on our way back, we met Chef John. He emailed me a few days ago that he's in a voting competition. Yes. Yeah. To be like a top recognized chef in some competition. Unfortunately, it's only on Facebook. So if you don't have a Facebook account, you can't help him. But I put the word out. I just said, hey, you guys, extras, Gen X Talks community, we're all friends here. And I said, if you guys can help with this, please help Chef John out. He's coming to the barbecue. Yeah. He's coming to the Gen X barbecue. And he went from 7th place to 1st place. Now, here's something I didn't know.
What's that?
That's only the quarterfinals.
That's okay.
So there'll be a couple other rounds. I'm gonna have to rally the troops again. But he went from 7th place to 1st place, and if he gets in, we'll have to try to just help voting him across the finish line. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you poke around our website, genxtalks.com, you'll see a picture of Chef John and I on there, and there's a link at the bottom if you have Facebook, and you can vote him in. That would be great. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. But anyway, just thought I'd bring that up. He's a good guy, cool. And a great steak, and a great chef, and I want to help him if we can.
Oh, so something happened. You know, you guys went to Torrance, and I stayed back because I wasn't feeling good that way.
Right.
Did you know you forgot to take the Zippix box
I know.
stuff?
I did.
Zippix is a good sponsor of ours.
They are. There's great guys. They did an interview with their founding father, and it was so much fun to have him on the program and to talk about how he got there. And Zippix is a great product for helping people quit vaping, quit smoking.
We've had many members or fans use those toothpicks, and they've said they've helped tremendously.
Oh, it's such a great thing.
So is it Zippix.com? Is that what?
No, it's Zippix Sticks, I think.
Zippix. It's on our website.
Again,
if you go to our website, go find our sponsor page.
Yeah, that's right. We made a little sponsor page for people. Now remember, the only time we get sponsors, and I'm telling you guys, it's not a lot of money. They're not spending a lot of money with us. We're doing it because we like them, they like us. That's one of the rules. We have to believe their product,
right? And
they have to like us. If they like Gen X Talks, then we'll talk. You know, and right now, I wish we had a $10,000 sponsor. We don't.
It's coming.
But right now, these guys are great. They're cool cats, and they like our show. They like the program. Zippix is one of them. So we made a little sponsor page for people that we work with. Zippix is on there. If you guys want to do that, it doesn't give us any extra money for doing stuff. But if you use the promo code, it saves you a couple bucks, and it shows these companies that you came from here.
Yes.
So all of them have a promo code of some sort. And if you just go like, hey, I was going to buy this anyway, but if you use the promo code, you get a couple bucks off, and it looks like, hey, we were successful in sending some people to you.
And a couple of our staff members have used them, and they have been helping. So they do work if you use them correctly.
The biggest story I heard was Mike Perkins, who doesn't smoke in his Uber car anymore.
Yes.
So now his car doesn't smell like cigarettes. He still has the nicotine as he's working his way off the whole program, and he gets muscle memory of taking the cigarette to your mouth. There's muscle memory that helps you psychologically like you would a cigarette. And it's helping him. That's my favorite story right now is Mike Perkins using that. So that's a good thing.
I hope Zippix gets a hold of him for a testimonial.
I'd love to put those guys together because he would be a great testimony for Zippix on their page. He's a great guy. You guys all know Mike Perkins. He's been around forever. He helped Two Bear with security back in the day. Now he kind of runs it himself. He shows up to all the big events and makes sure that he's supposed to make sure I'm kept safe from wackos that don't like my opinion. And all he does is make sure you're okay.
Yes, all the time. It's hilarious. He's taking over Two Bear's spot.
Yeah, he's doing a good job.
I miss my personal bodyguard of Two Bear. I really do. I really miss that.
Two Bear followed you around like a puppy dog. I love that guy like a brother.
I knew he was there. Yeah. If you weren't there, I knew Two Bear was there.
I know. I got you.
That was
did you notice that our daughter?
Wait. Late breaking news. We have breaking news regarding the daughter. Breaking news.
Here's the first breaking news. We don't have to call her the daughter anymore.
What do we call her?
Jade.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Chris Cuomo fixed that for us.
Oh,
Right on national TV. He goes, what's your daughter's name?
Everybody that's been following the story, we have late breaking news as of last night.
And even 5 minutes before the show, she was in the studio.
Are you guys ready?
All right.
Here it is.
So last night, I noticed she didn't come home from her. She works at the farm, and she didn't come home. She was 2 hours late, or an hour and a half late. So I checked where she was. I tracked her, follow my kids around, make sure they're safe. And just so you know, most of my kids allow us to know where they are because if something goes wrong, they want their dad to be able to have a starting point.
Yeah, it's not like we check up on
them. I don't care where you're at or what you're doing.
But like this situation, she was 2 hours late. We were just going,
something's wrong. I want to know, And so she's in the driveway. She's at home in our driveway, headlights on. And she's out there for like 2 hours now.
Yeah, she was there for a long time.
So I finally texted her and said, you okay? Do you need me? And she goes, no, I'm just on the phone with my boyfriend. I said, okay, it's probably not good to sit in the driveway in the middle of the night. Just come in the house. Not that we live in a bad neighborhood. It just bothers me as a dad. Come inside. Have your conversation in the living room. No one's here.
Right, exactly.
And she finally got done, and I texted her. I said, "Are you okay?" She goes, "I'm done with my boyfriend. He knows where I live if he wants to come talk to me." And I said, "Okay, we'll talk in the morning."
Dun.
Dun dun dun. And this
There we go again, people. Is it the final one?
Oh, she broke up.
It?
She says, "We're
Is
broke
this
up. We're
cutting
done."
the cord? Is she done?
Well,
stay tuned.
To be fair, this is, I want to say, breakup number 3.
I was going to say 3.
3 or 4. So this morning, 5 minutes before
ties?
we were getting on with the program, 5 minutes before the podcast started and we went live on the butt, she came and sat down next to me in studio, and my heart broke.
I know. Every single time this happens.
My heart, before she said a word, my heart broke because she had that look, big puffy eyes, like she had been crying all night, not sleeping all night. I mean, she looked sad.
So she did it in January. Now she's doing it again in July.
Well, this is the third. This is the third time she's broke up.
Hopefully.
And it came down to I don't the particulars don't matter as much, but it's how he communicates with her. She can't
doesn't
stand
communicate.
it. Yeah,
That's
doesn't. We've talked about this. He'll literally get up in the middle of an argument or the middle of a discussion. He will turn, walk to the door, grab his keys, grab his hat, and walk out the door.
With no explanation.
No talking. No talking. Just all of a sudden get up off the couch, walk over, grab the keys, hat, walk out. And he tells her, "I don't like confrontation. I don't like talking about this. And I don't know how to do it. I wasn't brought up that way, and I'm done." Well, okay, I get that. I can respect his point of view on that completely. But guess what else that means? They never solve a problem.
That is correct. It's always festering all the time.
You can't, because problems require discussion. Sometimes discussions get into arguments or a dispute, then you bring it back down to a discussion, and then you solve the problem and you're done.
Or there's a compromise.
And you can't get there because there's 10 minutes into a discussion, he leaves.
Yeah.
He literally she tells me, she goes, "We could be someplace out," and he will walk off and not come back.
Yeah. The other problem is that he's 9 years older than her. He's in his 30s. And I don't know about you guys, but when you're in your 30s, you're pretty much set in your ways.
Set in your ways, yeah.
There's not much change going to happen. There's not much more growth that's going to happen. So we've explained that to her. So I think she's realizing that there's a lot of women that think they can change men. We can mold them.
Every one of you thinks you can change us.
Mold you. I like when we get married, we all change. You mold, you change, you mature, you become, husband and wife.
You have never changed anything about me.
Bullshit. I will make a list and we'll talk about it next week.
Well, this is what it came down to this morning. She told him, "This is a problem. I know this is how you were brought up. I know this is how you were raised. It's a problem. You need to fix it. If you're smart enough to know it's an issue, you're also smart enough to fix it.
Yeah.
Now change it." Now, there's 2 schools of thought, and this is where I'll leave you guys. As a dad, been through this, raised 32 kids, this last batch of 8, 4 daughters, and I got a pretty good grasp on some of this. And I told her 2 things, 2 ways to look at this. One, if he's smart enough, he's 35 years old, and he's smart enough to be able to identify the problem and say, "Yeah, I know I'm like that." Then he's also smart enough to do something about it when it comes up. Like, don't leave, don't walk away.
Right.
Do you make a change, man? You're smart. This is a problem with you. If you're smart enough and you want my daughter in your life, you're going to fix this. Now, that's one school. Here's the other school of thought, and she didn't like this part. I said, he was this way when you got together with him.
Right.
He's been this way for the past 3 years. He's that way right now. He's not changing. Who you knew
right
when you started this with him, this was a character trait. This was part of his personality. It's not really fair that you demand him change who he is now. If you want to.
You accepted him from the beginning.
Yeah.
That's what dating's for.
To figure that stuff out. Yeah,
Yes.
You learn that before you get serious. You date and learn some of these things, because what I told her was, I said, yes, he is aware of what's going on, and yes, he could try to change it, but he could also turn to you and go, "I've been like this my whole life. I'm 35, and you accepted me this way. Now you're trying to change me. Leave me alone.
Yeah, either accept
This
it
is
or
me.
not.
And if you don't like it, then you shouldn't have moved in with me. You shouldn't have got together.
And we can flip it, because I'm sure there's some things that he doesn't like in our daughter. And he's accepted it from day one. He's not going around changing her. He's
right.
accepted
But in this
it, so-
particular case, we're just dealing with her issues about him. And on that topic, if he doesn't want to change, you have to decide. He's been this way his whole life. You know, this isn't a shock. He didn't become this during your relationship.
Right.
You know, you're mad at him for not changing something on how he is. Now, where she goes with this is on her. I gave her the two choices. You got to tell him that he knows about it and can change, or you got to suck it up, Buttercup, and this is your guy. Now, that's when she left the studio. So we haven't gone further, but yeah. That's what she's a mess.
It's always hard when you break up
And
with somebody.
what's the problem?
What's the problem?
The underlying problem is she has two jobs and he works at both of them.
Oh, yeah, exactly. We've
told
told her
her-
that one, too.
Don't shit where you eat.
Yeah, and she better not be giving him rides to work like she did this last time. I mean, this time she better cut the cord and be done.
I don't know. That's more of a mother-daughter conversation. I can't help with that. I don't know. But she's in a bind because she really likes both of her jobs and he works at both of her jobs alongside of her.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Don't shit where you eat.
Don't shit where you eat. Yeah. So the Briggs update, the kid, is he moved out.
The day after we got home from VidCon, I have to say, he was pretty excited. I mean, he was, like we all were the first time we move out. It's like, oh, we're getting out.
Gotta get out, yeah.
Gotta get out. He was so excited. He didn't take he got most of his stuff, but he left some stuff here, but he was so excited to go. But
now,
so proud of him for doing it, though.
I'm proud of him for going out, but I want to tell you the circumstances and how he moved out. If this was my daughter, it would have never happened. I wouldn't have allowed it. If my daughter had come to me and said, Dad, I'm moving out. I'm getting an apartment with my boss. And he's a really nice guy. And he's going to mentor me at work and we're going to make money. And we're going to share an apartment. I'm going to have my own room. And moving in with my boss and being at work all day with my boss, this is going to be great. I'd have grabbed that motherfucker and said, you're not taking my daughter anywhere, you asshole.
Yeah, you know I have some reserves with this guy.
Now, because it's my son, I just sat him down, and here I want you to know what I told him. This is as close as I have ever gotten to getting through to a child.
Well, first tell the circumstances about this guy that he moved in with. Let's build that up.
It's
for a minute.
Cutco Knives, and he's a kid. He's 22. He's the DM, the district manager up here, or store manager, whatever, area manager. And Briggs has been working with him for 3 months. Every time Briggs goes to quit Cutco, and he's tried 3 times, this guy has talked him into staying.
He's a good salesman.
Great salesman. And now Briggs is like, look, I got to get out of my parents' house. I don't want to work Cutco anymore. I'm kind of done. And the guy says, no, you can move in with me and we're going to keep going to Cutco and it's going to be great. And
yeah, the guy was moving from the Palmdale, Lancaster area in California here to Bakersfield to run this office. So he was renting an apartment no matter what, if Briggs was here or not,
but
had an extra room and said, hey, why don't you
Well,
move
he's
in with
scooping
me?
him up because Briggs is a great salesman.
Yes.
And if he can lock him, now he's got him locked into a year lease.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, okay, so I wouldn't have gone for that if it was my daughter, but it was Briggs. So let me go back. I sat with him, and I think this is as close as I could ever get because now Briggs like, I'm going to sell Cutco till I'm 55. This is my career. I'm going to make a ton of money. I'm driving a BMW, and I'm like, okay, man, I'm with you on that. I'm not going to squash your dream, but this is a little weird. And here's why. And I told him, now, when you tell kids stuff that they don't want to hear, they don't get it. They're not listening.
Or they shut it down.
It just bounces off of them. But I want to tell you how I snuck this conversation into Briggs. I sat him down here in the studio, and I said, listen, I'm trying to get through to your sister on why her boyfriend relationship isn't healthy. It's not quite right. Now, I know it's her choice, and she's allowed to do it. And it's not bad. He's not beating her. He's not abusing her. But you and I both know, son, this isn't good for her. And we've been trying for years. I said, what do I do? How do I find the words to convey that'll really get through to her? Like, sweetheart, it's okay, but this is not right. This is not what you should be doing. This is going to burn up years of your life. And Briggs sits there and goes, yeah, Dad, you're just not going to find the words, man. He goes, we've all tried. there's not enough words to get through to her. And I said, why not? He says, it's weird, Dad. He's like, it's kind of like when you get something in your mind that you're doing, even God could come down and tap you on the shoulder and say, hey, you probably should go a different direction. And you're just not going to listen. Even if God came down and tapped you on the shoulder and said, here's the words, you're probably not going to find the right words, Dad. And I looked at him and said, I can't find the right words for you right now. And his jaw dropped. And I said, you're in a situation that's probably okay. It's a little weird, but I'm telling you, I don't think you're going to want to be selling Cutco knives till you're 60. I don't think you should have moved in with this guy because now you're bound to him.
Right.
But I'm not going to be able to find the words. Hey, Briggs, if God tapped you on the shoulder, you probably wouldn't listen because you're in the same state of mind that your sister is in, just in a different way. And I'm telling you, I think he got it.
That's good.
I don't think he's going to change anything, but I think that was about as close as I've ever come by letting him lead me down that discussion and then turning it around quickly right at the end. Yeah. That was it. It was a short conversation.
Well, let me tell you something else. Briggs's girlfriend, Addie, came over yesterday.
You guys all know Addie.
Addie, yes. I made her something for her birthday and she came by to pick it up. Anyways, I said, hey, you got a couple minutes? You want to sit down? And she goes, yeah, I want to sit down. And she was kind of telling me about home life and school. She's got to be a senior this year in school and stuff like that. Then we brought up Briggs. And I said, so how do you feel about your boyfriend moving out? She goes, yeah, I think it's good. And she goes, but I have my reserves about Marcus. And I
Reservations.
said, reservations, sorry. And I said, really? And I thought that was really interesting because I hadn't said anything yet. We hadn't said anything how we felt. We've never met this guy, Marcus. Anyway.
I have.
Okay, I haven't.
Yeah.
And she just said, she goes, Marcus is taking up all his time. And she says, I don't have as much time with Briggs as I would like. And every time I ask him to come over, he goes, well, Marcus and I. And she goes, well, let's go Marcus and I. And it's always that. It's almost like he's in a relationship with Marcus more than with Addie. She's getting a little frustrated. And I said, I get you. I said, we feel the same way. We don't know this guy. This guy has really pumped him up. So
he's just a 22-year-old good salesman is all I've seen so far.
Exactly. So Addie's feeling the same thing. And I told her, I go, if you have any, if something comes up, you meet him, there's something, come tell us. Maybe we'll be able to say something. So anyways, we had a conversation too. So we'll see what happens. Well, I'm hoping this all turns out to be a good thing. And, Briggs is smart. We've raised him to be smart.
He's a good guy with a great heart.
But he's seeing dollar signs right now.
I hope that this goes for about a year and he says, okay, this has been fun. I'm going to sell Cutco, but I'm going to do it on the side now and I'm going to get on with my life. Yeah. That's what I hope happens.
Me too. Me too.
So, yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Hey, I know one other
kid update.
Yeah, I know one other thing we didn't do. How is Big Dog Tools?
Big Dog Tools, yeah.
Have you talked to them lately?
Well, Jacob, talks to them for us. Jacob's our brand manager in that department. I did the interview with him and him and his wife. Wonderful people. It's up on the website on interviews. Great couple. And they specialize in stuff. And tomorrow during the garage show, when this goes on, it'll be that night. I'm sorry. When on July 5th.
There you go.
July 5th, the garage show. We're really going to take some time setting it up. We're going to use their drills live. Their drill bits. Time. Yeah, we're going to do it. We're going to put it out there. We're going to drill through some stuff. Concrete.
Can I do that? Can I grill? Can I use the drill?
Why would you?
Because I like power tools. I want to. Can I?
No, you don't need. This
Why
is a guy.
Can't I?
It's a guy
what
thing.
Do you mean it's a guy. Girls use power tools too. Well, we're probably better at it.
Oh, no, stop! You are not better at it. Don't start that shit.
Can I do it too?
You're gonna wear a plaid shirt.
I can if you want me to.
Can you wear a plaid shirt and tie the front of it like the?
You want me to that girl from Home Improvement?
Yes.
What was her name?
I don't care.
I can't remember.
I don't know. But if you want to dress like that, yes, I will hold the camera and you can drill.
I'm not 20 years old anymore.
You're still hot. You really
thanks,
are.
babe.
You are absolutely gorgeous.
Oh, thank you.
All right. Well,
you are a lucky man.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I even have a T-shirt that says that I'm lucky to have my wife. That's Big Dog Tools, again, another sponsor. They've done a little bit of sponsoring with us to help us out, and they're on the website. If you want to buy something from them, go to the website and check out their stuff. They don't make a ton of stuff, but the few things they make are perfect.
All right, cool.
And we'll talk about those more. But yeah, they're great.
Right.
They're out. That's going to be a lot of fun tomorrow night.
So as we're live on the radio today, and we're you'll be getting this on July 5th, the day after 4th of July.
Yeah.
This is a really unusual day for us. It's kind of like actually a normal day during the week, but we are not celebrating technically 4th of July, like having a barbecue and fireworks and stuff.
It feels really, this has been 30 years or plus for us that we haven't bought fireworks and we got all stocked up with ice.
Or have a barbecue or a swim
pool party
or whatever.
I mean,
I have mixed emotions. I'm a little bittersweet because that chapter is closing, but I hope that our kids carry on the tradition and do it themselves.
I do too, but it bothers me a little bit. And this is what I was thinking this morning, exactly what you were saying. This is the first year we're not going to have the cul-de-sac lined with lawn chairs for fireworks. This is the first year there's not going to be music and the grill going and 50, 60, 70 kids in the backyard swimming and going down the water slide.
Usually the neighbors had their garage or their back or side gates open.
Yeah.
And the kids are running from house to house to house. And when it got dark, everybody came out. The whole neighborhood brought out their fireworks.
To the end of the cul-de-sac.
And where we are in California, in Kern County, you can have fireworks at your house. So that's kind of unusual. But there's also many, many, many illegal fireworks. So you see the ones that go up in the air all around us. It's like a war zone tonight.
For a little bit. Well, the other part was that, and I know it changed as the years went by, but for a long time, we were the only ones with a pool.
Yes.
For a long time, the whole neighborhood came down here because we had a big barbecue grill. Some of you have been here and sat at our grill, at our bar. And, the swimming pool, we were the only ones who had. Now, since then, 3 or 4 other families have put in pools, so it's not it got a little less, but still the activity was all the kids playing together. And this year, it's going to be quiet. Yeah. The grill won't get fired. Not a ripple in the pool this year. Nothing.
Maybe, unless I go swimming.
You might.
You never know.
But I'm just saying, I'm with you on that feeling. It's very weird to have the first year all of a sudden, our house isn't the center of attention.
Yeah, but it is kind of, on my end. It's the other side. I said it's bittersweet, as I miss that, but I don't miss the setup and the cooking and the shopping and the
entertaining
Yeah. It's time for our kids to do it. That's what I'm feeling.
Well,
so maybe in the future we'll be invited to their 4th of July.
Do you know where we're going to be today? Right. We're going to be out on the front porch in those 2 rocking chairs with a drink, just watching.
We're the old people on the block now.
Yeah.
That's what we are. We are the old people on the block.
I'm okay with that chapter. I'm just glad that I don't want to be 56 years old and go, man, I never had that experience with all the kids and the big parties year after year. I missed no, we did it.
Yeah, and even when we were younger, our parents did it. We took over for them. Now it's our kids' turn to take over for them. So
well, there you go. So I'm with you. It's a little bit.
But we have our Bottom of the Glass Nation
people
tonight. Looking forward to that, just hanging out with them. So, yeah, that's cool.
So a little different, but there you go.
So also one thing, after my little episode at VidCon and coming back and hurting, Dr. McDreamy, with your help, has put me into physical therapy for my back.
Yeah, he called around and found somebody personally to take care of you.
Yes. So that is interesting. I've only had 2 sessions. The first one is just an evaluation and talking and asking me like where I've come and how long I've had this pain and stuff. Well, the second session that I had was a lot longer. And oh my God, he had me stretching. He had me moving my back in weird positions. And they did some electric stim on it, which, man, I wish I had that on Sunday after I was
no kidding.
hurting. But so we're hoping that with this physical therapy, and I have to do it at home, that maybe will relieve some of my lower back pain. So we'll see how it goes.
You were in there for so long. I finally came inside and go, where's my wife? No, you were in there for so abnormal. I came in and kicked in the door, and I'm like, look, where's my wife? This is way too long. I don't know what's going on. You weren't answering anymore on your cell phone. So I came in, and I talked to the guy who was taking care of you there, and he tells me, did the electric stimulation, did some stretches. Of course, I relayed that second to Dr. McDreamy because he he's overseeing this whole thing step by step.
Yeah.
The thing that bothered me about this, and I'm not a doctor. I don't even play one on TV. But the thing that bothered me about this guy is we're all the way done. You've done your stretching. You've done your electrodes. You've done your twisting. You've done the rubbing. Everything's done. And now you're in recovery mode for the next 15 minutes. Then you can come home. He tells you, do you want heat on your back where we've been working on you? Or do you want ice?
Yeah.
Now, okay, so you picked heat.
That
all right,
seems to work.
okay. What doesn't, now this is just me as a dumb mechanic in the middle of the desert. Think about how I look at this. This guy says, well, I let her pick between ice or heat. I'm like, wait a second. Hold on. Hold the phone. Doesn't heat make muscle do something like either contract or expand? Yes. Doesn't ice do something else to your muscle, either contract or expand? I mean, they do different things. He goes, yes. I said, well, you just got done working on her. Why would you fucking give her the choice? Don't you know what her muscles need? Wouldn't you say, after all this therapy and stretching, we're going to put you on ice for 15 minutes because your muscles need to contract? Why would he give you a fucking choice? And there's two things that go wrong with this for me. One is heat and cold. Don't they do different things? And doesn't he know what you need? This isn't a personal preference. You're not in a massage parlor. And Dr. Madrini brought up the second point. I didn't tell you this. He goes, yeah, the dude needs to be more in control, more assertive. We're not talking about your feelings. Well, how do you feel today? How's your back? Would you like ice or would you? No, you get in there and this is Dr. Madrini's angle of the conversation. Like, the dude needs to be more confident and know what the fuck he's doing. He's to go in and say, okay, after we're all the way done, we got to put you on ice because your muscles need to contract, or the opposite, whatever. But not give you a choice. That bothered me. I went out and told Dr. Madrini, what the fuck, man? He goes, he told me, I'm not calling today. Let's see how it goes next week. But he wants me to report in. And if the guy is, because I told him, the guy told me, I say, hey, doc, the guy told me it's going to be 6 to 8 weeks before we see any result. He goes, what? It better be quicker than that. I mean, you're talking about an area. You cannot put something past Dr. Madrini. You can't fuck around with this guy. He's been doing this 35 years, and the highest level, in my opinion, the highest level of being a medical doctor
I trust him
is
completely.
Sports therapy.
Yeah.
When you're in sports medicine, when you're in that aspect where you're looking at that degree, I don't think, other than maybe soldiers in a battlefield surgery situation, there's nobody who knows more about what's going on than a dude who's doing it at that level and is attentive to in the sports industry. When you're part of that, you top notch everything, and Dr. Madrini is.
And the physical therapist is doing the same stretches that Marcy showed me, adding a little more, and other things that I was doing. You've seen me stretch. I stretch every day.
All the time.
I'm doing more or less what I've been doing to
that's because you got Marcy, and Marcy's absolutely...
She's a physical therapist.
Right. Marcy's whittled away all of the stuff that doesn't work on people and focuses on the few things that do for each person's individual, each person. So when you get that whittled down, she says, this is what you need to do. Then this guy comes along who's a local guy. He's like, well, I think in your situation with your level, where you've been medically with cancer and on and what they've done in surgeries, I think we should do these 4 things. You're like, I already do them every day.
Yeah.
Why? Well, because Marcy Zavala said this is what you do. We're way ahead of the program on that. When you have the guy better just shut the fuck up, because I know he's trying to do his job, but he's a young kid. He looks like Clark Kent. He looks like Superman with glasses and a suit on. And the guy's looks like he's 12 years old compared to me.
He does.
And we've already got Dr. Madrini and MarcyZavala.com putting you on a path, watching what's going on. It's like, dude, I'm not trying to tell you that, you're playing with sand and marbles and sticks and stones here, but I'd love to be able to tell this guy, you got Zeus hovering over you. Don't fuck around with this,
Well, I had to tell you, before you came in, before you saw me on the heat pad, he was doing these exercises on me, and I finally in the middle I said, no, I can't do anymore. And he looked at me and I said, now my back is hurting. Like, you have made me do all these stretches and all these yoga poses. I said, I'm done. And he goes, okay. And I said, I can't go any farther.
Why didn't you tell me that? Why didn't you tell me that? I'd have fucking grabbed that guy by his tie and said, come here, asshole. Don't ever make her hurt again like that. When she tells you it's enough, shut the fuck down.
Well, he did. He stopped. He goes, we're just going to see how long your threshold is. I said, well, we've reached the threshold right now.
You didn't tell me any of that.
No, because I was done.
And you know what? I know who else you didn't tell. Dr. McDreamy ain't heard that story neither. Never.
No.
He ain't heard that neither, because if he had, he probably would have called and said, dude, don't push her to the limit. You don't need to know where the threshold is. Get the shit done, man.
Well, we're
All
going
right,
again tomorrow.
What?
I have physical therapy tomorrow on Friday.
We have a world show in the morning and a garage show.
And right in between there, I got physical therapy.
You won't even be able to sit.
You know what? You just worry about you.
Wow. I am. I cannot do those garage shows without you. I'm definitely worried about me. All right.
Man.
Well, anyway, Dr. McDreamy, if he's not blowing up your phone right now, like listening, he will be when he hears the podcast.
I don't see nothing.
He's going to call you and go, what the fuck, man? Tell me. He's going to tell you to tell him everything that went on there. All right.
Well, let's end this on a car. Do you have a car story?
We're not ending this yet. We're not done yet. We got to make up for 2 episodes here. So,
dude, we've been on for a while.
How long? Would you guess?
Hour and 22 minutes.
Hour and 16.
Okay, well.
So you owe us 6 more minutes.
By the time you do your car story.
I want to tell you, I want to bring up something, and I need a little confirmation from you. Affirmation.
About what?
About a month ago, for the first time in all these years, 20 years we've lived on the street, we had tire marks in our cul-de-sac.
Oh, I was so mad about that. Another grumpy old lady.
Some dude comes on a white Camaro and spins out like he's tough shit, and I didn't even hear it, so I had to go look on the security camera. Then I find out he's a friend of the neighbors 2 doors down.
Yeah.
So remember when we were doing the car show the garage show, and the guy pulls up.
I saw him because you were talking. You were live.
Yeah.
Weren't you live on camera?
Well, right before. But then I walked out there and stood there and stared at him because he was getting in his car, and he looks at me. He sits in his car with the engine running. I'm like, go ahead, dude. Right now. And he didn't. He drove away. But he has come back in the middle of the night since then when I'm not sitting out there and done it again. And he's doing it further down the street, too. There's tire marks. So I go to leave to do something the other day, and on 2 different times leaving, Casey was one. He's like pointing at the street, and then the other one was Brooks' husband. I can't remember his name.
Lane.
And he's looking at me like, do you see they're all wanting me to do something about it. They're all like, do you see what's going on here? Why don't you handle this shit? So now I got to address this fucker the next time I see him when he stops at the neighbor's house. I got to walk up and smash his window with a hammer and say, now that I have your attention, quit fucking around in my neighborhood.
Yeah, we don't do that here in our neighborhood.
No.
Go do that somewhere else.
Go do that somewhere else. You can do it in here. And go ahead. How many windows you want, bro? Keep doing it. Every time you do it, you come back and just smash a window and walk away. Every fucking time. I don't know. I don't know what to do about that guy other than that. But the neighbor,
good talking to.
He does need a good talking to. But the neighbors are now looking at me like, why don't you do something? You're the neighborhood watch. Go out there and.
What are they going to do when we leave?
Well, we haven't told them we're leaving. We haven't told anybody.
Not yet.
Because it's a year away.
I haven't done that yet, so.
So another thing, speaking of the garage show, when we're going to do the live demonstration on the Bad Dog drill bits, I want to show Torque Strap.
Oh, that's a new guy that came yesterday.
Jacob he's not a sponsor of the program. And I'm going to tell you something right now. If you guys have listened this far to the podcast, try to hear my words on this interview, because I'm going to fumble how I say this. Grant Martin came up. He invented Torque Strap, it's kind of a cross between a bungee cord and a motorcycle strap. And for certain applications, it's fucking brilliant. And he left us some stuff here to tinker with. And of course, Jacob says, hey, just interview the guy. He's not on board yet. He's not a sponsor, but just interview him. It'll be good content for us. We spent 40 minutes talking about him and Torque Strap, which is a great product. I love it. But then we just kept talking like 2 guys.
I know, 3 hours.
3 hours.
I couldn't believe you guys were talking for 3 hours.
Neither could we. And I'll tell you what happened was we almost like forgot we were recording. And he's like, well, tell me about Gen X Talks. Where'd you get started? What did you do?
So he interviewed you.
A lot. And then he was like, well, what programs, he's talking about. Let me skip to the end, and then you guys can listen if you want to. He was telling me from a business owner point of view how difficult it is to place a few advertising dollars because you don't know what you're getting. It's hard to measure it. And I said, well, how hard do you think it is for us as social media? We're just Gen X Talks. I don't think we're worth anything. And what are we worth to have us talk about
what's our
torch trap?
value?
I said, I'd feel bad if you spent a couple $100 and you didn't see a return. I'd feel like shit.
Yeah.
And he goes, well, but that's the thing is that I'd feel good about the effort and I'd feel good about and I said, but I wouldn't know that. I'd feel like I'm letting you down. And he'd say, well, I've spent some money doing some stuff and, it's all crunching numbers with analytics and mathematics. He goes, I hate that. And I said, man, I wouldn't even know how to present Gen X Talks numbers to you. I don't know how to do that. And, and of course, we're both dealing with Jacob, our brand manager. Jacob comes to me and says, hey, let's talk about TorqueStrap. He goes to him and says, would you like to be part of Gen X Talks? So Jacob's in the middle and doing a great job. Mm-hmm. But we discovered through this conversation so much about what it's like to be on the other side of the fence. And this is the way I'll describe it. We were two guys on opposite sides of a fence trying to get to the middle and we never talked numbers. We never talked money. We just said, well, how hard is it to be that guy doing this? And how hard is it to be us going, I don't think we're worth anything. We're doing it for free anyway. Yeah. And I couldn't believe that the conversation went that long, 3 hours. But I will tell you this will either be the biggest flop of an interview that no one will want to listen to. And I listened to the first 35 minutes about TorqueStrap, but then you guys went off the reservation and I quit listening. Or there's going to be people that say that was some of the most brilliant insight I've ever heard because you guys were just being open with each other. Candid about how is this working. And I will tell you what, no matter what, I made a friend.
That's cool.
I'm telling you, man, we exchanged you got his cell. He texted me right away. We texted off and on all day yesterday after the interview. We both couldn't believe it went by so fast. And Grant even if you set his great product aside, which there's no link on our website, there's no nothing right now. This was just an interview. That is one fucking cool cat.
That's cool.
He wants to have us on his podcast. He does an invention podcast that he talks to inventors about things they're trying to make and do, and he helps them.
Oh, very cool.
He's also down in the Valencia Canyon country anyway. So when you and I get that craving for a Tommy's chili dog and we run over there, I'm going to text him and let him know, and maybe we'll meet him for a dog. But it was an incredible bonding experience for two men who never knew each other. We just met yesterday. To get as far down the road in a friendship as we did in those 3 hours was incredible for me.
That's awesome. That's a great interview.
That interview, when it posts, like I said, it's long. It's a laborious
really
read.
You guys you didn't send me a text or nothing.
No, you finally kicked in the door and you're like, are you fuckers done?
Gosh.
But I'm telling you.
I went to the grocery store, came back,
you
they
did.
were still there.
His truck's still in the street.
Yeah, I'm like, what's going on?
But I'm telling you, for you guys who follow along with the interviews, this will be either just dry, stupid, or it's going to be huge, entertaining, going, wow, I never saw such insight. I just don't know which way it's going to go. But Grant Martin from TorqueStrap, he's a friend.
Awesome.
I've never been more pleased with an interview to turn out that way, when you didn't know how it was going to go.
That's great.
So that was a big thing. So we're going to talk about his stuff on the Garage Show, too. We may make up for missing Garage Show and go a little longer on Friday.
All right, that's
July 5th will be the next one, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah.
That's very, very
So that was something I want to tell you about. But there's all sorts. The Grill Master Club is working with Jacob.
Oh, I love them. I want another box from them.
Yeah, another couple boxes.
I would love that.
They're working with it. There's a Pit Barrel Boss is another one that Jacob's working with. And, none of these are Pepsi. None of these are Coke. None of these are, giving you $10,000.
Mom and pop
these
things
literally,
that are
yeah.
Just trying to get in the world and make a few bucks.
Right.
And I love those.
And
I like those better than a big name one. I really do.
I like it that it's personal. Yes. I like it that these guys are like, hey, we love Gen X Talks. We've been following you guys. We didn't know you guys allowed sponsors or advertisers. And we're like, well, we didn't. Just recently we got Jacob, and Jacob, he's a brilliant mind on this. I mean, he he's cultivating an angle to present things, and he's doing such a great job.
Yeah.
I couldn't.
He gave us a pat on the back saying we have so much content to push out. Like we work hard, and there's.
He told you, he goes, I can't keep up with all your content.
That's right. That's what he said. And that's true. You got to pick your niche of what do you want to listen to. Do you want to listen to the podcast? Do you like YouTube? Do you like Facebook? Do you like Instagram?
Do you like the live streams?
Yeah. You just kind of pick what part of Gen X Talks that you like.
Well, and that was one of the, I won't spoil it, but that was one of the big parts of the conversation with Grant and Torquestrap, was that when he, as a person who's going to spend money on advertising, this will summarize it for you guys. He can go and say, hey, I'd like to go to a company. He can go to some company and say, hey, I like your podcast. I'd like to be part of your podcast. Okay, well, it's this many dollars to be mentioned on our podcast. And then Grant could say, well, can I get in some of your YouTube shorts or your TikToks? Oh, we don't do those. We just have a podcast. Oh, okay. Or you can go to a guy who makes reels, makes TikToks, he makes YouTube shorts. I'd love to be part of your 1-minute videos. Can I also be part of your podcast or your live stream or your channel? Oh, we don't do all that. We just do 1-minute shorts. So Jacob looks at our channel and says, you know, anytime somebody does something, they just do one thing. Because if they try to do 2 or 3 things, the one thing is really good and the other ones are so-so. And videos, they got some shorts, they got some reels, but they're not that good. The main thing is their podcast, or the other way around. And Jacob comes in and says, you guys have a solid podcast. You're not Joe Rogan, but you're fucking solid. Mm-hmm. Your reels, the videos you put out, are they Mr. Beast? Are they the top? No. But they're fucking solid. Mm-hmm. And your YouTube page and your consistency with your membership pages and your Facebook pages with all the nostalgia you put up there and the polls you put up, you're faithful to doing on YouTube to keep and you change your website all the time. And he goes, now you're doing interviews separate from the podcast that we're doing. He goes, they're all very solid. So now when you come in as an advertiser, it's not just Gen X Talks, because we've gotten rid of so much stuff that doesn't work. Hey,
that's how it happens.
And we've tried stuff for 6 months going, this just isn't panning out. And we've kept the stuff that does work, and we've just slowly, like a blue chip stock, we're just slowly growing in these areas and keeping them going and growing up. Now an advertiser comes in and says, which area do I want to be part of? Now Jacob comes in and says, look, we got 2.6 million followers across the board here. What part do you want to fit into, or do you want to be part of all of it?
That's good.
And so now, and this is new for Jacob, because normally you don't have those options with the channel.
Right.
And I think a lot of our followers, a lot of our fans who are now our friends, a lot of the friends of the program, a lot of friends of Gen X Talks would agree that there's a ton of stuff. They're like, man, I watch all your shorts. I watch all your live streams. I listen to the pod. They're part of it. They know all the aspects of what's going on.
And they're all slightly different.
They are. Everything's a little bit different.
Yeah, Grant from Torquestrap yesterday said something interesting. On his way up to our house, he was listening to our podcast. And while he was here, sitting in my chair here in the studio, we were bantering back and forth just like we normally do.
Yeah.
And he goes, wait a second. He goes, I was just listening to the podcast on the way up here.
Yeah.
Just kind of catch up. And he goes, but I'm watching it live right here.
He
in the
goes,
studio.
you two really act this way.
Yes,
I go, yeah.
he says,
This isn't a podcast show. For those people that have been around us, and there's a lot, and staff, they know this is how we are all the time.
This is us. You
but
guys haven't.
You're right. Grant looked and he looked at you. He goes, wow, you guys are just do this.
Yeah.
And the other part was, he said,
We're real.
We're real. But the other thing he said, which was such a great compliment, is he said, what you guys talk about isn't extraordinary, but he goes, every time I get done with your podcast, I get a warm feeling like I was part of something.
Yeah.
I've never heard that described that way before.
No, but I'm beginning to understand when people say they're just drawn to the podcast, because we're just everyday normal people telling you good, bad, ugly life.
But
talking about life.
Okay, and here's why I didn't think that would be appealing at all.
Yeah.
I thought, who the fuck is going to... They're dealing with their own problems, their own life, their own kids, their own job. What the fuck, they going to take an hour out of their day to listen to my shit? I wouldn't do that. I'm not going to listen to you. I got my own shit.
Makes you feel normal, like you're just part of the team.
Well, I think that's part of it is they look and go, all right, so it's not just me.
Right, exactly.
There's other people going through this shit. All right.
Exactly. Because there's a lot of movie stars, actors, people on social media that all you see is the good stuff.
Right.
Nobody talks about the bad stuff that happens in their lives. And we do. Like,
you want to hear something bad in our life? I got something right now we haven't told anybody.
You know, what do you want to talk about?
We're trying to buy some property in Nevada.
Oh, here we go. Yeah.
So we're moving some money around. Got a banker doing some stuff here. And we find out that 7 years ago when we bought our solar panels, we bought them through the California and the County of Kern HERO program.
Which we found out is now a big mistake.
Well, let me get to the point of this, is that the way they have the interest structured, we spent $41,000 on solar panels. We got a lot of solar panels. We got 47 solar panels on our house. Huge. But they're in the print and how they have it worded, if you don't, it's supposed to be part of your property taxes. All right, you pay your property taxes, part of it goes towards your solar panels. After 7 or 8 years, it's paid off, everything's good, and you're down the road. Okay, that part was correct, except for the part that if you option to go the whole term, they charged you an extra $30,000 in interest for $41,000 in solar panels.
Yeah, we didn't know that.
Nobody did. So the first thing I did is like, fuck, now I got to go pay that off. All right, now I got to pay that off before I can move forward. No, I got it. I'm paying it. Yeah. But I also looked up online, and now there's lawsuits. There's class action lawsuits, and they're going to win because that's deceptive, and you can't do that. And even California there's basic rules that have been in place, laws that have been in place since the 70s, and it was mainly for the automotive industry, that you can't charge 47% interest on things, take advantage of people. They put laws in place back when the Republicans are running things that you're not allowed to do that. So these laws apply universally, not just automotive. This falls under that, and they're going to lose. California's going to lose. The HERO program's going to lose.
God, I hope we get some money back.
Well, it'll probably be 3 or 4 years, but yeah, we'll get it all back. But now I got to write a check for that to move forward to continue buying. But yeah, so you guys want to know
things? And the other thing that happened is, we opened escrow with one company, and not a week later, they switch escrow companies.
Well, the lady left. The main lady left and opened up her own escrow company. I'm all right with that. That's a girl trying to get ahead.
It's like you told me, it's not going to be smooth sailing the whole time. And it wasn't when we bought this house either.
No, but I told you all the houses that we've bought over time and properties that we've done. But what I told you this time, we were standing there in Nevada at the property, and I said, as soon as we put an offer in on this is going to be a nightmare. It is going to turn your stomach, and we may not get it.
I know.
There's many reasons where escrows fall through with stuff and things happen, and you learn stuff about the property that you didn't know, and now you don't want it. I said, and I warned you.
I know.
And now we're in the middle of it. There's just nightmare after nightmare going along.
So that's our new storyline that's going to continue for weeks ahead.
Yeah, for a long time.
Welcome to that ride with us.
Well, and all I want to accomplish in the short term is I want to buy the property, get power to it, and drill the well. That's where I'm and clear part of the land. That's where I'm stopping.
All right.
Mainly because that's all I'm have the money to do right now. So I'm stuck there. But if I can get that far, so yeah. Anyway, so you want a car story?
Well, yeah. Let's end it with something good. Everybody loves your car stories.
This is an RV story because remember, when I was younger, I used to work on cars at car dealerships or garages. Then I went to RVs and trailers, which I love RVs and trailers.
Why do you like them so much?
Oh, because when I do those, I don't do the mechanical part. I don't do the engines, transmissions, and stuff. When I went to an RV dealership, I was doing interior, refrigerators, furnaces, air conditioners, cabinetry, a low volt water pumps. I did all the interior stuff that make the coach part of the motor. I liked it. I got certified by Riva and all the stuff. I used to go down at Dodgers Show was the big event.
Oh, I remember that.
For RVs. They'd fill the parking lot. People from all over would come, and that was a big show. And I'd go down there and give free classes. I was 19. And I was down there, and anybody had a question about something, how do you check something? How do you test something? How do you install an awning? What are the tricks to doing it? I would tell them. Did that for like 3 years. So this particular story, I went to work for Young's RV. They don't even exist anymore. They were in Lancaster on Avenue I in the 14. There's a dealership there, but it's not theirs. And I wish I could remember. I should have looked up the years of it. You guys will know when I tell you. But I got into a big argument with the service manager. This is when I was little. It was 22, maybe 22 years old, I'm going to say. Anyway, he didn't like me. I think his name was Dallas Russell. He didn't like me at all. And this is a big dealership. There's like 20 mechanics, 20 paint shop guys. There's lot porters. There's just tons of people, sales staff. And he got on to me about something. We had disagreement on some things, many things. And I'm like, look, I'm doing this right. Everything's good. Finally, it came down to one job, and I forget why he picked it. Some trailer. It was a used trailer. This movie company had come in, and they were filming something out in Palmdale, and they said they came in and bought like 6 older trailers, and they're putting them out. I'm assuming for people to use. And this one trailer that had been this other mechanic had quit, and so he goes, "You got to pick up his job where he left off, finish the list on this trailer, and get it done. And by the way, this one gray water tank is leaking. It's like a septic tank." He goes, "It's leaking at the valve, and this guy tried to fix it. I replaced it. I replaced the whole thing. Couldn't get it to stop leaking." And this thing, and the service manager finally comes, and he goes, "Look, you've been on this a couple of days now. Not just that, but other things too." And he says, "If this thing leaks in the next 6 months after we give it to these guys, if these movie guys come back and say this trailer's dripping water from where you fixed it, you're fired."
Wow.
So, man, I'm in panic mode. I'm starting to do stuff dumb that I would never do. I replaced everything again. I sealed it all up, and I must have put 40 pounds of silicone. I mean, squished it all. And it's dry as can be because I know not wet at all, and I let it sit for like a day and a half, and then I put water in it, and it didn't leak, but I knew it was going to leak. There's just silicone ain't going to fix shit. You just put bubble gum on a hole in a dam. You know, you're putting your finger in the hole in the dam. Anyway, so I knew this was going to come back, and so did my service manager. He every day after these rigs went out to Palmdale with this movie company, he's like, every day the phone's going to ring, and the phone's going to ring one day. It's going to be you, and you're fired. They're going to call about this leak. You're gone. Every day he hovered over that phone waiting for that call. So I think it was 9 months went by, 10 months. Never got a call. I was in the clear on that one. And I kept wondering why. Because I knew it was going to leak. I just knew. I go, this just isn't right. I can't fix it right. I've replaced everything on here. It's still dripping. It's still leaking. Now, I did glob it up with silicone and new parts, and it was holding for a little while. But I knew in my heart it was going to leak. I couldn't believe no one had called. All of a sudden, it was maybe 9 or 10 months afterwards, I went to the movies and saw Lethal Weapon 2, which turned out to be the movie that they were working on, and they took these out there. And I had assumed all these trailers were for people to live in or, take a break in or, something like that. This particular trailer that I worked on that went out there was the one that got run through and blown up in one of their car driving scenes at the beginning of the movie. And that's why they never called, because they blew it up.
Because they solved the problem.
They smashed it with a truck. It was like a comfort, 20-foot travel trailer. And I went, that's the trailer. And they fucking, I knew it went to those guys. We all knew what movie it was going to. And out in the desert, we figured, they told us. And I looked and I went, I almost stood up in the movie theater and went,
clapping,
fuck yes. That's why they never got a call.
Job.
Because they probably were doing filming on that in the very beginning. That must have been one of their early production runs. They smashed it up and threw it in the junkyard.
Oh my
No one ever called.
That's
True story.
Funny.
Yeah.
Good story.
So Lethal Weapon 2, that trailer that gets run over and smashed up in the beginning and blown up.
That's a good story.
That was the just so you guys know, the water valve leaked on that before they But so I got away with that one because
I like that story. That was good.
So now you know what I know.
All right. Well, that's cool.
Well, we've done it. We've gone an hour and 40 minutes.
There you go.
I do apologize for missing last week. I hope this makes up for it. We did give you guys our best effort. I promise now, one thing that my wife and I decided, little family Gen X Talks meeting, is that we did miss a garage show. We did miss a world show. And we're going to try to find time and a way to make a best of, like chop some stuff together, or maybe on the podcast, I'll pick a podcast from a long time ago, maybe something you guys haven't heard before, because not everybody scrolls back through the podcast, but maybe I'll find something and I'll announce it. I'll re-record the intro saying, hey, we're out of town. Thought you guys might like this. This is from December of 2022. And so it's more personal. It's not just copy and paste.
Right.
I really value all the time that you guys give us. And I honestly tell you, and some of you know this, some of you really know this, I give as much effort as I can till I'm exhausted and I can't go any further. I put in a ton of effort yesterday, and I came in the house and said, I should go back out there and edit a little more, but I finally came in at like 8:00 at night. I go, I can't do it.
We do not have a big staff, you guys. We run Gen X Talks with just us.
Our staff, which is a great staff, but they're moderators.
Right.
Nobody lives near us where they can come over. Trippy Pineapple is the closest one, and every time we do something, that dude jumps in his truck and comes up here.
Yeah.
And if he lived close enough, I know he would have a permanent spot in studio that would be his station.
Absolutely.
That he could do some stuff and help out, because he's super talented and he's a great guy. But everybody's just too far away. So all the stuff you guys see on every channel and every post that goes on throughout every day comes from us. And now that the kid went to college for a year and now he's moved out, he still has no internet at his apartment. Now, for a brief time, 100% of this falls on my wife and I. And let's face it, we're not as creative as he is.
That's great.
We're not as capable. We really struggle. We struggle to bring these things up to a C average where he could take them into A+ territory. We just give you our best effort and hope that it passes. But we do give the effort.
Yep, we
so
try.
We really appreciate you guys listening into all the programs and stopping by. We love all the donations you guys give us during the shows, in $5 and $10 and $20. We really count all those as a blessing. We love it when you guys buy the merchandise, which we're working on the Shopify store. And I just want you guys to know the effort that we put in is because you guys show up. You guys matter, and it's really important. We care a lot about Gen X Talks.
Absolutely.
So with that, time to say goodbye, Gracie.
Goodbye, Gracie. Thank you guys for listening to us.
We yammered on for a long time. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys for showing up. I'm glad that if you had an hour and 42 minutes and 16 seconds of your day to waste, I'm glad you chose to waste it here. Thank you for listening in to Gen X Talks. Not sure where you're chiming in from around the planet, AM, FM, Sirius XM, or perhaps you dropped in on the Armed Service Radio Network. Remember two things. One, wherever you go, well, there you are. Don't forget that. And two, I'll catch you guys on the flip side.
Bye, everyone.
Life is